All right, so Conor McGregor announces his retirement again. But did he really though? I mean, let's look at this a little bit deeper. Conor's been known as the innovator of the UFC. He's brought in so many new eyes, and so many casual fans have turned into hardcore fans because of Conor McGregor. I mean, he's truly come into the UFC and innovated the sport. He's changed the way people act outside of the ring completely. I mean, the storylines have changed in the UFC. He's made it something that's attractive to a broader audience, a more broad net that the UFC can cast now that Conor McGregor has come and did his thing. I mean, he's truly a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and he's done things that nobody has ever done before. He was the first champ. He's gotten all the records for pay-per-view buys, pay-per-view points, probably bonuses. He's up there. I mean, he's done things that some fighters could never even dream of doing, and he's done it in style, for lack of a better term. I mean, he's made it a point to wear a suit to a press conference now. He's made it a point to make sure that your interviews are great and you handle yourself with pride and you speak clearly and you're quick-witted. And he's just changed the way fighters have to act inside and outside the ring. He's brought so many things to this game, so it kind of confuses me that he's choosing to retire at this point. I mean, he put out a tweet a long time ago. It was in 2016 where he said, "I've decided to retire young. Thanks for the cheese. Catch yous later." And the media was in a storm over that tweet. He got so many new eyes on him. It was the top story for the day, probably the next couple days following that as well, until we got clarification that he probably wasn't really going to retire. And that's what's confusing about this announcement as well. I mean, I'll go ahead and put the tweet up here where he announced it this time. So he says, "Hey guys, quick announcement. I've decided to retire young from the sport, formerly known as mixed martial art today." Unfortunate on the spelling of mixed martial arts, but he also said, I wish all my old colleagues well going forward in competition. I now join my former partners on this venture, already in retirement. Proper pina coladas on me, fellas." Now, does that really sound like the way someone like Conor McGregor would retire? It just doesn't sound like something that would be his going away speech. Does that make sense? And maybe he's going to do more on this. Maybe he's going to put out a formal announcement on ESPN Plus and they're going to broadcast it, or they'll post it on YouTube, whatever the case may be. But it just doesn't seem like the way Conor McGregor would bow out of the sport. Now, looking back at his past fight with Khabib, it would almost, that's the only thing that's kind of making me hold on to, maybe this is real. It's very possible that after getting, I mean, the man got destroyed in that fight. He got smashed. He was getting shit talked while he was on his back, getting pounded by Khabib. So it would kind of makes sense if he has one foot out the door. And in this sport, it's an unforgiving sport. You can't go into the octagon, especially at the level that Conor McGregor fights. You cannot go in the octagon half-cocked. You can't go in there not fully prepared. Even if you have the perfect training camp leading up to the fight, if your mentality isn't there, you're going to lose that fight. And the repercussions of losing a fight at that level could be detrimental to your life, to your actual life after fighting. I mean, you look at people like Muhammad Ali, Chuck Liddell now. I mean, those are two very good examples that fighting leads to permanent damage if you take it too far. And maybe Conor McGregor's just being smart about it. I mean, the man's made more money than anyone ever has in the UFC. He's made the UFC more money than anyone ever has. I mean, you look at what Dana White did for Chuck Liddell. He was paying him close to $500K a year to not fight for the longest time. So I'm sure Conor McGregor is going to be taken care of as far as money from the UFC, and he's got Proper 12, which is killing it now. So, if you're going in there half-cocked and you've got all these backup plans that Conor McGregor has, I'm sure he's got movie offers off the chains. He's got sponsors wanting to get any piece of the pie that they can off the man. So he's got fighters calling him out. Almost every single fighter at a UFC event for the past 6 months has called McGregor out if they've been close to his weight class. And McGregor has entertained those offers. We almost saw a fight with him and Cowboy. He's called out Pettis recently, so there's some options there. He could do the Khabib fight. He's got so many people coming up, and maybe that's why he feels comfortable to bow out. I mean, UFC can run itself. It's got some very high-level superstars fighting right now that aren't named Conor McGregor, so maybe he's just to the point where he's ready to bow out. He's ready to take the money he's got and leave. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. But I'll go ahead and put what Dana said to, he was texting Brett Okamoto, and I'll post that on the screen now. So he says he has the money to retire and his whiskey is killing it. It totally makes sense. If I was him, I'd retire too. He's retiring from fighting, not from working. The whiskey will keep him busy, and I'm sure he has other things he's working on, which we all know he does. So he has been so fun to watch. He's accomplished incredible things in the sport. I'm so happy for him, and I look forward to seeing him be as successful outside of the octagon as he was in it, which he already is. So those are all clues that are leading me to believe that the man's actually retiring. I just think he's got so much unfinished in the octagon that I hate to see him retire at this point, but what can you do? I mean, the man deserves to retire. He's done enough for the sport, done enough for the fans, done enough for himself and his family, which is probably the most important thing to him, or it is the most important thing to him. So he's good. He's taken care of. It makes sense. I just don't fully believe it yet. I'm sorry, I have to leave it at that, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the story. If anything else comes out saying that Conor McGregor isn't retiring or leads me to believe that he isn't, I'll definitely post it. Stay updated, guys. Thanks for watching the videos. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time.